place called Hughenden, across the Great Divide. The people are so friendly, it's known far and wide. The gateway to the goal, the crossroads of the state. So come along and see us and I'm sure you'll think it's great. We're out west.
Where are you?
We're in Hughenden. We're out west with the basalt and the gorge, where it hardly ever rains, but we don't complain much. And if you're lucky you'll get to see a dinosaur. Now it's dinosaur country and there's a few in town, so come along to Hughenden and have a look around. There's a Stockman's Hall of Fame, Matilda country too. There's plenty of sights to see and plenty of things to do. We're out west.
Where are you?
We're in Hughenden. We're out west with the basalt and the gorge, where it hardly ever rains, but we don't complain. And if you're lucky you'll get to see a dinosaur. Now it can be very dry with very little rain, but once you've been out here you'll come back again. We've got the Dinosaur Festival every second year, so come along to Hughenden and come and have a beer. We're out west.
Where are you?
We're in Hughenden. We're out west with the basalt and the gorge, where it hardly ever rains, but we don't complain much. And if you're lucky you'll get to see a dinosaur. I saw a dinosaur. Yeah, Matapatasaurus. She could be out for days, mate. She could be out for weeks. It's only 20 k's, mate. Let's go and take a peek. She was up to 1.7, mate, but I got through tonight. Oh, you haven't got a chance, mate. You should be alright. Million bloody stories, a million bloody flies, now arguing with the ladder, mate. But which is the truth, which is the lies? Flooded creeks and flies, flooded creeks and flies, flooded creeks and flies. Might be best to wait and play it safe. It sounds like she's going down. Oh, you'll make it through, it's only 0.2, and I just got into town. No, it's 0.4, she's halfway up the door, but me Volvo did it in style. You'll be right once you pass the first one, from here about 15 miles. Million bloody stories, a million bloody flies, now arguing with the ladder, mate. But which is the truth, which is the lies? Flooded creeks and flies, flooded creeks and flies, flooded creeks and flies. There's more rain expected tomorrow, we'd better make a dash. I can't afford to stay here any longer, I'm running out of cash. Don't worry, Bo, if I got through, you'll make it through with ease. Bet you didn't think a scuba course be handy in parts like these. We made it through, but only just, despite all the bum steers. But all in all, we can't complain, no. At least we're out of here. At least we're out of here. Six blokes set out one day for a long weekend trip away, but only half of them knew where they were going. Two vehicles packed with gear, one had food and the other had beer, and the latter one ended up in Coen. Well, you must be thick as two short blanks in Coen. Hit a creek, busted spring, nothing to eat, not a thing. By this stage the beer was surely flowing. Went sideways around some curves, we saw potholes but never swerved, and the Kiwi's nerves were shot when we got to Coen. Well, you must be thick as two short blanks in Coen. Now the cricket match was a test of strength between the local law and one of our men. He said, fix that spring and just keep right on going. Have you ever been money free? And I don't care what you tell me, you'd better not run into Soapy in Coen. Well, you must be thick as two short blanks in Coen. Had no money, not a zack, had to sell some beer to get us back. Meanwhile the other boys were so relaxed up at Morton. And which way Lou, what did he do? He's going backwards down the hill, nearly ended up where the river's usually flowing. Well, you must be thick as two short planks at Morton. Now a broken spring's complexity, trying to put things where they're meant to be. I detect a hint of animosity in Coen. We fixed that spring, we made a start, another wrong turn toward Lockhart. Hit a cow, still don't know where we're going. Well, you must be thick as two short planks in Coen. Now we hit Morton at 3:30, and all the boys just looked at me and said, geez, you're a bloody sight to see. Someone said you're in Coen. Well, I'm not sure what is destiny, and I'm not sure what is meant to be, but I tell you one place you won't find me, that's Coen. this bloke some years ago, out in the Maranoa where the Bungle flows. With his long lean frame and his craggy face, he seemed the epitome of the Aussie race. With deft long fingers he rolls the smoke, 'cause he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. Well, myself personally, he's heard to say, as he speaks his mind in the old bush way, but mention the Kenneths, Patrick and Jim, and his eyes light up, it means something to him. He tells you the story of the bushrangers folk, 'cause he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. The wealth of experience to guide him through life, and the love and the strength and support of his wife. He's been a shearer, a fencer, a truckie and more. He's been a ringer and broken in horses galore. But despite all the hardships he was still able to joke, 'cause he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. He's a bugger to talk, you can't get him home, as down memory lane our thoughts often roam, while we listen to Henry, Banjo and Co. Then sang along to Buddy Williams, you know. He'd sing the Flying Doctor, the Blue Velvet Band, the songs of his youth, this man of the land. So when a hand was needed, he'd always be there, with a ready-made wit and a genuine care. Some know him as Honey, some know him as Bill, but I know him as Brasso, and I always will. He's been a great mate, and it's hard not to joke, 'cause he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. Yeah, he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. Yeah, he's a bushman alright, this long lean bloke. The road is rough and dusty and we're all hot and dry. We got the jitters, we got nothing but our swags, a little water and some 3-day-old corned beef fritters. Now we come across a sign that to the eyes is kind, but not to our livers. It declares that in 10 Ks we can remedy our dismay at the Archer River. Yeehaw! Well, it nearly washed away when Cyclone Nina come that day. Merry Christmas, but today it's still no further to get an Archer burger at the river. But when Easter comes around, you're lucky to find a piece of ground to get invaded with people from Weeper. So you stand amongst the throng and pretend that you belong at the Archer River. Give me a beer, give me a burger, Weeper can't be too much further. Tell me a story, how have you been? That makes you bloody laugh, the good old bush telegraph. What's on up ahead? Is it rough or green or dead? I'm always happy to be delivered to the Archer River. can act the fool and still stay nice and cool while you're swimming, splashing, playing in the water. There's tourists everywhere and they're letting down their hair with their sons and daughters. But when you've had enough, you just grab all your stuff before you can blink or snigger. There'll be someone in your spot trying to cool off at the Archer River. Give me a beer, give me a burger, I still hauling rocks to sugar. Tell me a story, how you been? It makes you bloody love good old bush telegraph. What's on up ahead? Is it rough or green or dead? I'm always happy to be delivered to the Archer River. Oh, the roads a bit lumpy today. Oh, Cheryl, how's it going? She penned a letter to her mum and dad around midnight. Now the big bad world and the time she's had, she's doing alright. She can walk down the street with her head held high, with a 12-stone dog by her side, and she's still trying hard to decide what she'll do tonight. But she's doing alright. She's doing alright. Well, I saw her standing by an ice cream van in the shade of a tree. Saw her glance my way, so I wandered over. I thought she fancied me. Well, I got up close by her side and pretended that I was trying to decide between a cone of vanilla, a cone of lime. Then I hit her with that line. How you going, alright? She's doing alright. Well, that didn't work, so I thought to myself with my evil mind, well, she's got a flat tire and she'll need some help, I'll sneak up behind. Well, she's not the helpless thing I thought she was. She had the wheel brace out, the hubcap off. Then I realised I made a fool of myself when I saw that she's doing it right. She's doing alright. Well, I started talking and she stopped walking, started talking back. And to my surprise, she was making eyes as we walked down the track. Well, I looked myself over once or twice, then I looked at her and she looked very nice. It was just about then that I started to realise that she's doing alright. She's doing alright. Alright. my car. Not sure if it was sheep or a dog. Maybe it was just nothing at all. Maybe I've just had too much grog. It was smaller than a cow. It was bigger than a cat. I think I done kangaroo. Poor little Skippy just went splat.
Toots, 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 dead road. Toots, 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 dead road. Toots, 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 dead road. Toots, 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 dead road.
Heading off to see my girl, man, I'm feeling kinda toey. Steaming up the next big hill, my headlights pick out Mum and Joey. Smile appears across my face, push my pedal to the floor. Ruin Junior, head for space, hear my great big V8 roar.
Toots, 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 dead road.